Hello, and welcome back to the Isle. So to preface this video a little bit, back in 2023 I uploaded a video titled How to Navigate Gateway. A lot has changed since then, and upon rewatching it recently, I found that while some fundamentals of that video are still applicable, there are a lot of other aspects that are completely outdated. So that got me thinking, what better way to start off 2025 than to make an updated guide? In this video, I will show you how to navigate using the compass, how to navigate using landmarks, and a brief overview of various regions across the map of Gateway. To start off, let's address some fundamentals. When you sniff using the Q key, it will bring up a compass at the top of your screen. This compass not only shows the locations of objects in the world, such as edible plants, dead bodies, water sources, and salt, but can also lead you towards areas of interest and function as an actual, compass. There are 3 areas of interest that the compass can lead you to: sanctuaries, patrols, and migrations. A thorough explanation of the mechanics of these 3 would be an entire video in and of itself, so I will give just a brief rundown of them. Sanctuaries can be smelled by juvies and spawn highly nutritious sanctuary mushrooms for herbivores. They are denoted by the palm tree symbol. Patrols spawn diet plants for individual herbivores or a single group of herbivores, and are denoted by this eye icon. Migrations can be smelled by an entire species of herbivores and spawn diet plants for them. They are denoted by this dinosaur tracks icon. You can identify the cardinal directions on the compass like so. The peak or up arrow is north, the valley or down arrow is south, and these 2 little white dots located 90 degrees on either side of north and south denote east and west. Knowledge of cardinal directions is useless, however, if you don't have a frame of reference to apply them to. And this is where landmarks come in. For the purpose of this video, I will be dividing landmarks into 2 categories, major and minor. Major landmarks are massive terrain features that can often be seen across the map, which can be used to give you a general idea of your location. Some examples of major landmarks include the volcano, Highlands caldera, Central River, also known as Delta River, and the biodome, also known as perimeter. If you can see any of these and determine what direction it is from you, you can get a rough idea of your current position very easily. Even better, if you can identify 2 or more major landmarks at once, you can get a more accurate idea of where you are by triangulating your position with the landmarks. And it's not as hard as it sounds. I'll give you an example. Well, alright, I was going to do a whole thing where I spawned in at random locations and tried to find my location through major landmarks, but I kept seeing little landmarks that gave it away beforehand, repeatedly. So, for this section, I'm just gonna show you what they look like, what these major landmarks look like. So, if I'm, for example, let's see. Now, flying around, the big ones, actually, you know what, I should put my raptor down somewhere, here while I do this. Okay. So, the things I'm talking about is, the volcano. That's, you can see that for miles. Highlands caldera. The biodome. These are things you can see from across the map, and I even include the Central River as a part of this equation just because the river is such a huge biome. It bisects the map and has a lot of really recognizable locations, like here. You can't mistake it for anything else. So, if I were here, if I were right here looking around and going, okay, what can I see when I'm here? Even ignoring the river. I'm stuck on a rabbit. Okay. So if I am here and just ignoring the river, I can see the biodome, and I can see the volcano. And I can see the volcano is north of me, and the biodome looks to be west of me. Okay, I'm south of the volcano. I am west of the biodome. And that gives me a lot of information to work with on where I am in the map. And actually, a bit of the script that I mean, now I've recorded the main script of the video, and I forgot to mention it, even though it was a big part of my previous video that I'm replacing, is that, and you know what, I'll put this in the major landmarks, it fits in here, is that knowing which side of this river you're on completely changes the equation. It tells you everything. Because if I'm like, okay, I'm south of there, I'm east of there, but oh hey, I'm also across this river. There's a whole half of the map I can't be on if I'm on either side of this river. And if I show you a view from, well, basically orbit, like all the way from there down River Delta, and this river flows all the way up. It forks there, but we're going to follow the left fork here. It goes all the way up, the water access you can see there. Like, you can't miss this river. If you're on the eastern half of the island, you can't get to the western half of the island without crossing this river. You can't avoid it. And likewise, western half of the island, this whole area here. If you're going to the eastern half, you have to cross this river at some point. So with the foreknowledge of knowing where in relation to this river you are, you can tell much better your location based on landmarks and such. Alright, flying in, like, over here. Once again, okay. I'm on some little, a little bit of Highlands, so I'm on the outskirts of it. And I go, okay, what can I see? Volcano. Volcano to my northeast, so I am southwest of the volcano. And in fact, with a little bit more map knowledge, right there, I can see that is Highlands Caldera, all those little bits. And knowing what that is, well, I know exactly where I am. I know I can head that way to Northeast Plains, I know I can head that way to Highlands. And just so you know I'm not making this up, boom, Northeast Plains over there. I head over there, what do you know, Highlands. But let's get a different angle of things. You know, what if I was, like, here and didn't know where I was? Okay, a little bit rough. I don't have many things to work on, though. Oh, hey, look at that. Look, there's Biodome. Biodome to my east. And there is Highlands Caldera right next to it, a little bit to the north. So, okay, I am south of Highlands. And I am also west of the Biodome. And I know, okay, ravine here, that goes to that river there. I know where I am. I know I can head that way to get to west access, or west rail access, whatever you want to call it. I can head up there to go to Highlands, well, up there, more-ish. And South Plains is down that way. Like, just based on these major landmarks and my position in comparison to them. Minor landmarks are any terrain feature that can be used to pinpoint your exact location regardless of its visibility over great distances. They can be as small as a single pond in otherwise unremarkable woods or as large as Highlands Lake. Minor landmarks are literally anything of note. Every road, bridge, dam, and human base falls under this category. Sanctuaries, ponds, lakes, rivers, etc. Even the tiniest of terrain features, like a walkable slope on otherwise impassable terrain, can pass as a minor landmark. The usefulness of minor landmarks is directly correlated with the amount of map knowledge you have, and as you grow your map knowledge, you will know more and more minor landmarks. I would consider Highlands Lake a minor landmark, because you can't see it from, you know, across the map like a major landmark, but when you are here, you know exactly where you are if you're in Highlands Lake. Another minor landmark, a good example, this archway right here that separates Highlands J sector from this weird little bit that's not actually anywhere, but over there is Highlands Ice Sector, and then the biodome there. Like this archway here. If I see this, I know exactly where I am. I know exactly where this archway is, and where it can lead. And let's just go to the example I used in my old video, way over here. You have what I call the Riverbend Pond. Alright, if I am just in the woods here, let's say I haven't played the game, or I haven't played on the server for a month. So, okay, I'm a raptor, I have no clue where I am. Oh, hey, some water. Okay. Where could this be? Oh, hang on, I think I recognize over there. Run over here. And, okay, yep, this is ringing a bell. The volcano's over there. That's using a major landmark, not a minor one, and chicken. That's using a major landmark, but just using this minor landmark here. Oh. And then, oh, the river bend will be right there, which the river bend in and of itself is a landmark. This is something I recognize. These waterfalls here. There is a downed tree on a road over here. Look at this, right here. Just, I mean, I am far more familiar with this map than I should be, really. But I know these locations. Just these tiny things. Literally a log on the road, and I know exactly where this is. I know the bridge over the river is over here. I know that I can go all the way down here to River Delta. I know that this road right here will lead me up towards the biodome and to... Actually, wait, no, the biodome road's over there. I get this confused, but it will bring me to Highlands. Yep, right there. Follow the road, and actually... Well, right, what I do... Actually, no, not here. Another example is they can be even the tiniest thing. And that's really what I want to drill into you. Because over here at the bridge, okay, you have this road that goes in. Minor landmarks can be... Stop spawning little things on me. They can be the absolute tiniest, most insignificant thing. But if you can recognize it, if you know where its location is, especially in relation to other locations, you can use it to your advantage very effectively to navigate the map. So, I know I'm on the road that leads up from the bridge that crosses the Central River. And I know that as a playable, let's assume I'm playing something that can't jump, I can get up between these rocks here. See, right here. Like, oh no, there's rocks in my way that prevent me from going up here, except for this tiny slope right here that I can walk up. And if I continue this way, and you know what, I'm not going to continue it on foot because that will be a bit slow, but if I continue this way, I will find these mud pools, and then I can follow this up, and it will lead me up to Highlands, up to the human basin Highlands specifically. Just, it can be the absolute tiniest thing that can tell you absolutely everything about your current position. Aside from landmarks, a great way to navigate the island is to know what different regions across the map look like and where they are located in relation to each other. And alright, now for a bit of an unscripted part of the video, where I'm going to walk you through a few of the major locations around the map. It's not everything, it's not an exhaustive list, because then I'd be showing you every little pond around the map. I'm just going to show you general regions, and kind of tell you where they are in relation to other places, and show you a bit of that. So, let's start off with, well, what used to be East Plains, but now people refer to it as East Lake, East Pond, East Swamp. East Lake is the only correct answer, all the rest of those are wrong, okay? You should feel bad for calling it anything else because you're wrong, and I am objectively correct on this. But anyways, so East Lake, this is what it looks like on the ground. Actually, one of the few locations that I still have a bit of a trouble navigating because it's a bit newer, and there's not really much in the way of landmarks. They do have a really cool little cave right there, but yeah, it's got this massive lake with duckweed. If you see a big lake with duckweed, you know you're over here. People call it a swamp that doesn't have really swamp-type trees, it just has a few trees in the water, but it's not really quite a swamp. Over to the southeast, let me plop down. Should be southeast, I believe. Yeah, that takes you towards the coast. And I believe there's a patrol there, and then you can travel all the way down to the river delta if you want from over there. But if you're not wanting to go that way, well, if you head straight west, you'll end up heading towards the Central River. If you head north, you'll end up at Northeast Plains. So if you head straight east, you end up on the coast here. And this area has lots of shipping crates and stuff, and that ends up leading over to the docks over here, though I'm not going to go over the docks. There's kind of nothing that goes on over there currently, so it's a bit of a waste of time to go over. But the next major area we're talking about is Northeast Plains, which at one point was the major hotspot, and now not so much. Now you rarely see people around here. I guess I'll mention East Plains as well. You don't see too many people besides fresh spawns that happen to be over there. But East Plains is, not East Plains, get them confused. But Northeast Plains is a region, well, defined by this big lake and the fact that it's right here in the shadow of the volcano with the wax palms around it, the really tall ones. It's pretty easy to tell when you are over here, very distinctive. I mean, the volcano is just this huge landmark. And going over to this side of the area, we've got this road that runs through it. If you follow it down the river, that will lead you towards the river fork and the Central River. Over there, through those fences, that leads you over to East Lake. And if you follow the road this way to, I believe it would be the north side of the volcano, if I'm correct? Yeah, north and northwest-ish. That leads you down towards water access. And to kind of just show that off real quick, zooming out, as you can see, that takes you towards the river, that takes you towards East Lake. And over here, very roundabout, but the paths go through all this jungle, past the sanctuary that's over there, and takes you over to the next area of interest, which is water access. Now this area is defined by the massive lake here and also the massive dam. And in fact, I think, yeah, that's the largest dam in the entire game. Look at this thing. Look at this beauty. This thing is ginormous. Huge landmark. And not too much goes on here. It's a Dano spawn. It's where Danos go to get up to Highlands and such. But it is the head of the Central River. This is where it originates from, and it goes down, all the way down these cascades and stuff, in this really lovely area they do absolutely nothing with, unfortunately. At least currently. These Austro have fun stuff on the river down there. But yeah, I mean, this is really just defined by the dam, by the lake, and serves as an access point. You can get, let's see, there's a road that goes that way, and it goes all the way up to Northeast Plains, following the road over here down. This will lead you pretty much along the Central River, and actually can be a route into Highlands, though a bit of a roundabout, because the most direct route into Highlands is to go across the dam right there, and you see that road there, it goes off to the left, and boom, you got Highlands over there. And now for the next location on the list, okay, we're gonna hold off Highlands for a second. over here, if you've spawned in as Dilo, you've probably ended up over here. This is, let's say, Northeast Ridge is what this area is called. Mostly jungle, not much going on. You have this one pond over here that some people know about, some people don't. But generally, if you end up in this area, you just want to get out of it, because there's nothing but, like, fresh spawn carnivores. And typically, you know you're over here if you find the coast here, and oh hey, there's water access, there's the dam there. And you should get out by going towards Highlands. And that's all I'll say about this area. This area of the map's kind of unfinished compared to other areas. And then we have Highlands, more specifically Highlands Eye Sector, or Highlands Lake as it is commonly known. This is a pretty distinctive place. It's got the dried grass, the dried kind of brownish yellow grass. Got the wax palms everywhere. It's really high up, and you have the lake here. Just extremely distinctive. You know you're in Highlands, okay? You always know if you're in Highlands. And Highlands Lake is a very active area, especially over here, where people think there's a safe drinking spot, but not really, because Danos can still get you over here. But that is Highlands I sector there, and I mean, if let's see, over there is J sector. If you try to remember the name between these two, I think lake, kind of like an eye, kind of, if you really stretch in the definitions of things. And from here, you can get down to water access. Actually, let me get on ground level, so this is making a bit more sense. Then you go north to go to water access. You can go down to the river by heading over on this side. There's a road. It goes down to a human base down there. All these switchback roads, and that will lead you over towards the river. And if you want to go to Highlands J sector and everything beyond, you have two routes, which is either up that hill right there or through the canyon over here. The canyon's a bit more of a popular route, but you head through here, and boom, you've got Highlands J sector. Which, I mean, basically just Highlands, again, just without the lake. It's got the wax palms. This whole area is on a little slope that heads down over in that direction. That would be west. That is West Rail Access, West Access, whatever you want to call it. If you head in this direction, that would be east, southeast. Yeah, more south than east, but still, that direction. That leads you up towards the Biodome and over to South Plains. Over this way doesn't really take you anywhere. That ends up just being towards, what is it, Northwest Ridge or whatever they call it. I forget. Or is it even called that anymore? I don't know. But yeah, distinctive features, of course, just the same Highlands stuff of the yellowish brown grass, the wax palms. I guess two features I'll point out is over here, there's this little kind of arch here, and you'll see that especially if you take this route up and over. Then you end up in this kind of weird side area that's not actually anywhere, but you keep heading that way, you head towards South Plains, or heck, even go down to the river if you take a left. Or you head through here, very recognizable structure, and you end up in Highlands J sector. And just for funsies, I'll show off, there is a second canyon over here that no one ever uses. I mean, it's a little bit more of a hassle to go through. It's a very roundabout way. But hey, if you're worried about carnivores or whatever getting in your way, as you want to go between these two zones, there are 3 routes from Highlands I sector to J sector, and well, vice versa. Go up through there, or go through there. So these two come out at basically the same point. And yeah, I think that's all I've got to say about this region. So let's go down, we follow this road all the way down to West Rail Access, a very active area in the current build of the game. very unremarkable. There's not really any crazy features you see that just makes you go, oh, yep, this is the place. But it has this pond here, it's nice. Sometimes you find dinos in it, sometimes you don't. I hate them so much. But, yeah, the region itself doesn't have anything really crazy that makes it stand out, other than just if you know the locations around it, like that massive pillar right there, that thing. It's right between here and South Plains, very recognizable. And, well, when you know the coastline and such, you go, oh, that's the Mudflats down there. But yeah, if you are here, of course, Mudflats are down there, and you can travel along there to get to South Plains. You have Highlands, which is up to the northeast. I guess a little bit of a lesser known route. If you head through the forests and the hills here to the east, you will end up finding a path over here, and that will lead you into the river, well, into, I guess, South Plains River is what I'd call it. So yeah, you got a few options here, and also the best access into, which I think they call that area West Access over there, which is very strange. This is West Rail Access, and that's West Access. You know what, I'll go over there real quick. You go through here, and you end up in this area, which might spawned on it as a carnivore or as a pteranodon before. Not much going on here. It's some palm plains, kind of like what we used to have over in East Plains, but now this place kind of sits by itself. It's got a little pond here, and yeah, that's about it. This is a kind of unfinished area in the corner of the map. There's not much going on over here. If you're over here, you're only here for a minute before you're going back to an actually populated part of the map. And so we will go back over to West Rail Access. And you go down. If you've spawned this Dibble up over here, you know this journey very well. This is where Dibble D-Day happens, as you try to get to the Sanctuary, which is across over there. But this is the Mudflats. Big ol' area of sand. It has a massive sanctuary over here. And funny enough, the best place to get mushrooms in the sanctuary is not actually within it, but up on the cliffs over here. Yep, look at that. I can already just see them immediately. Pro tip right there. But yeah, this area, I mean, it's pretty well defined. Coastline area on the western part of the island. It's got these massive beaches. Quite a few rocks out in the water. Yeah, and of course you get to West Rail by going over there. But if you head over south of here, south a little bit, maybe less south, more east. Travel along here. Oh, and also great turtle spawns around here for all you Pteranodon players out there. Just numerous sea turtles. Yeah, you head along here, you head along the coast here, and then you go, oh yes, it is a hive of scum and villainy known as South Plains, which is quite a bit of a hot spot much of the time. And it's not really, it doesn't have anything too remarkable in terms of just terrain that, I mean, like what Highlands has. It's very plain looking, but you can really tell it's here because the river. The river is the big feature that goes through here, and of course it's not the central river. It is a much smaller, much narrower river, and it's got a few waterfalls. It's got this one goes down, and this one, which goes down to salt water, which is there just to trick you because this is lies. And South Plains has access to a lot of areas. Of course, Mudflats, let me get back on the ground. Mudflats you find to the west, to the north. If you cross the river here and go up, you'll find a road, and that will take you to the biodome, and that'll take you up to, like, Central River. All that stuff. Actually, if you're going to Highlands, you're also taking that route. And if you head east, via two different ways actually, you'll end up in swamp. One way, down here, there's this sort of canyon path marked by this sandy road, and that leads over to swamp. But also, from over here, and of course, well, a big landmark of South Plains is this mud pool right here. Lots of stuff right here, the sanctuary tucked in over here. You got the river, you got the mud pit. These are the recognizable spots of this area. And if you head over, past the biodome, you have a way into swamp. Going over here, like you head up, road, and that will lead you over all the way to here to Biodome Pond. And you can go up to Highlands and such, but alright, we are burning daylight. Let's keep going. There's nothing in the biodome right now. Don't bother with it. It's basically just a massive mountain. Alright, now, talking about the central river I've been talking about so much, here we are, and okay, am I alone? This is gonna be a interesting thing to find out. Am I alone so I can change? Yes, okay, right. Okay, hope they don't get mad at me for that. Okay, right, so here we have the Central River, the largest and widest river in the game. This location right here is what I call River Fork. There's no migration or anything right here right now, but you tend to end up over here when you're trying to cross it. But here is one of the big landmarks, which is the bridge. Just, yeah, everyone recognizes this bridge over the river. And if you are, like, right here, now you have a crossroads to a lot of places. You can go, okay, I want to go to the sanctuary across the bridge. Well, you just head across the bridge there. If you're going towards East Lake, you'd also cross the bridge, then head, northeast-ish. What the... Okay, AI is scaring me, just spawning in. Curse you, rabbits. Following this road up, actually, and going straight through the woods, you will find Highlands, which is, northwest-ish of here. And of course, you can follow the river down all the way to the delta. And the river is a massive biome. It is just, look at this. Like, this is all... yeah. And along the route, you have so many different areas to go across. Like, that leads up to Biodome and Highlands. And you can just keep going around here. That also leads towards Biodome, though you'd have to do a bit of a roundabout thing to get to Highlands, so typically don't take this route. Or, oh wait, no, it's that one is the bad one. This one is less bad, but still not optimal. And you follow the river all the way down. There's this little archway that's kind of distinct. But over here you get what I would consider River Delta proper. Just this whole area here. You have this pool with the duckweed in it. You have this kind of interesting end of this plateau here. This right here is River Delta. And from here, well, you have access over towards the eastern part of the map, East Lake. You can go through there, go through all the jungle there, or head along the coast and all the coastal stuff there. Of course, you can head back north, go to the source of the river, up to water access. I mean, just the river bisects the map. It does a lot. It is a fantastic landmark that tells you exactly where you are. But if you are over here in River Delta, and that can be characterized by all these, what is it called? Catweed? Something like that? I think that's what they're called. No, cattails. They're called cattails. No, I was thinking duckweed, right? Yeah, cattails are very common in this area. Lots of little bits broken up by water. And over there with these swampy trees over to the south, a little bit southwest, you have swamp. And swamp is a proper mire, as the name would suggest. You follow the river all the way through here, tons of cattails, logs down, and boom, we are in swamp proper. Actually, hold up, that's not swamp proper. This is swamp proper. That's kind of just a side area. When people think swamp, well, usually they think an area like this because this is one of the few areas of swamp that people have memorized and can recognize their surroundings, especially because there's a secret tunnel through the mountain over there. And, yeah, that leads you, let's see, that goes north, and honestly, that only just leaves, basically allows you to go past the river delta, but you still end up on the river, and I will fly through it right now to show you that. Like, you go through here, and oh, there's a little canyon. But in the end, yeah, you're back over here by the river. So really, the use of this tunnel is just to bypass river delta if you're moving to or from the swamp. Which, I mean, it can be a good idea. But yeah, we have swamp, which you know when you're in swamp. Like, let me just plop myself down in here. Right here. Just, yeah. It's swamp. You recognize it. Duckweed, swampy trees, shallow water everywhere. You can never recognize exactly where you are. All navigation is hopeless. Abandon all hope, all ye who enter here. That's swamp. If you are in swamp, you will be relying on your cardinal directions more than anything else because, well, knowing that you're in swamp, I know that to the north we have the biodome. In fact, can I see it right there? Yeah, it's a straight angle there. You can orient yourself with that a little bit, but generally speaking, south takes you to the ocean, east takes you towards, and east and a little bit northeast takes you up towards the river delta if you don't hit the coast first. And if you head west, and of course, well, by a bit north with that, but more west first, that will take you towards South Plains. But yeah, swamp, it is, well, very confusing, and, you know, despite all of my stuff about how I love map knowledge and stuff and knowing exactly where I am at all times, I'm actually fine with swamp being this horrific dead zone. I mean, not dead zone in terms of players, I wish we had more semi-aquatics and such that could inhabit it and make use of all this lovely, massive mud fields. But, yeah, this whole place is just... Oh, actually, one of the few landmarks here is the Sanctuary, which is almost dead center, a little bit off to the west of the center of swamp. So if you're here, just know your best bet is to probably head over to South Plains, unless you're just gonna make a beeline east towards the river delta. But generally speaking, you have just lots of little islands separated by shallow water and little channels. But once you get over to the western part of swamp, you end up with a lot more of these mud stacks. You end up with just, yeah. I realized I didn't finish my thought earlier. Just, I like that this area, just you do get lost in it quite a bit. But right now, in the current build of the game, it's a bit of a dead zone. People don't really go here often. People don't like being here. The playables, they get stuck in migrations over here. They literally just leave it out of boredom. And, you know, unfortunately at the moment, it's not a very fun place to be. I'll show off a little side location, because over on the coastline, we have a very thick palm forest here on the coast, which unfortunately doesn't have too much going on with it. I think there's like a patrol over there. Maybe there's one over here. Actually, I think there is one like right there-ish. But yeah, it's a cool little area, though not much is done with it at the moment. And I believe... yeah, it's all the major regions I've talked about. Now, of course, I haven't shown you everything. Like, for example, that pond right there in the middle of the screen right now, that's a little spot. that I have passed by multiple times and haven't really said anything about. There's lots of little secrets. All the human bases I have not touched up on, like the one right here, pond that's like somewhere right there. I've locked onto it. There's a pond in that jungle there. All sorts of little locations, the pond over there. Because this isn't a full guide, I'm not showing you every location, I am just giving you a general idea of the largest locations, the biggest migrations, because you should do some exploring for yourself, because that is part of the fun of the game, is finding all these cool hidden places. In hindsight, while editing, I realized that I didn't give an overview of one very important idea to navigating the island. If you are lost, anywhere really, if you're on a slope of some kind, which you almost certainly are, this mountain is very, very mountainous. You can always go downhill, and you will almost certainly find water. Whether that be a pond, a lake, a river, or even the ocean. And you can get your bearings. Like, if I was over in these woods right here, and I just went, I don't know where I am. Okay, let's go downhill. Downhill, downhill, downhill. Okay, there seems to be a trough here. Well, let's go... Okay, that looks like it goes down. Oh, what do you know? A road. And this road? Oh, wow, an area that is easy to see stuff in. Okay, let's try this elsewhere. Let's say I mean, Highlands is so recognizable, that's not even worthwhile doing it, like, right here. Like, duh, you immediately hit the lake. But let's say I go... over here, actually. I've got two options for downhill, actually. Well, one option to go downhill goes all the way down. Oh, look, it's the South Plains River, and I can follow that to South Plains. Okay, well, what if I go... Well, I'm not going to do that downhill, I do this downhill. Follow this downhill. West Rail access. If I am all the way up here, middle of nowhere, downhill, and just literally following the slopes down. Oh, there's a bit of a rut here. Okay, well, let's go where it looks like the trees are going downhill a bit. Just keep following that. Oh, West Rail. And now if it doesn't lead you actually to a good spot, let's say... Okay, this is actually a good example, is over this part of the island. Let's say I'm here. Actually, maybe I'm more here-ish, and I go, okay, downhill. Downhill, downhill, downhill. Oh! Well, that's the ocean. That's not useful. Wrong. That is extremely useful. Because if you know the ocean is here, okay. The ocean is to my east and north. Well, I must be on the northern part of the island. In fact, if I follow this, especially if I have knowledge of where the Central River is, if I know I am east of the Central River, and I am on the north coast of the island, I can head west. And if I keep heading west, I will hit that river. So just go through here, assume we're going up and down and all this stuff here. On that rule, ignoring the road that is over there, right here. Let's say we're just following the coast, and oh, look, there's a nice little line, and oh, boom, there is water access and the big dam there. And you know where you are. Now, you might be thinking, well, why should I bother learning the map if I can just pull up the Volnona map and plop my coords in there to see exactly where I am and where everything else is? It's a valid question. And my answer is much the same as why I recommend people try to learn the map playing Galley instead of Terra. A bird's eye or even satellite view of an area doesn't necessarily tell you what things look like on the ground. You try to solely rely on online maps, you will find yourself constantly running off course because of unanticipated terrain and stopping to check your position. You will also likely only be thinking in the moment and not thinking ahead. That's not to say that these maps aren't good tools. They're great for helping a lot of people navigate, find friends, etc. But once you have sufficient map knowledge, they become entirely unnecessary. And that's about it, but before concluding this video, I just want to hammer home that good map knowledge is one of the most important skill sets you can have in the Isle. Knowing where the nearest, or rather safest source of water is, knowing where the nearest mud pool is, knowing where certain patrol zones are, and being able to pinpoint the origin of player calls when you hear them off in the distance, are just a few examples of how map knowledge impacts your moment-to-moment gameplay. Awareness of exactly where you are and where you can go, where you will go, is key to successful growth and survival. And it's not something a lot of people talk about. So, I hope this video has been helpful, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.